Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope that you are having a great week. This is Wednesday. Almost feels like a Tuesday to me.
Mhm.
Um, but we're back today. Um, I'm joined with I'm joined by Athena Shack. Athena, I gave all of the titles yesterday. How would you describe yourself? You got one sentence to tell people who Athena Shack is. What would you say?
Ooh, one sentence. I am a woman of purpose and intentionality. And I am about reclaiming and claiming everything that God has for me in ministry and family and business. That's what I have today.
I
That's
love
who I
that.
am.
I love that. You practiced that. That was so good.
I did not, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it
Yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. Listen, we were on yesterday and we talked about why your message needs to outlive you. And if you did not catch that, check our Facebook. We shared it yesterday on YouTube as well. So make sure you check that out. Why your message needs to outlive you. And we're in a series because we're also promoting something, talking about authorship and writing books. So as you're coming on, if you're watching the replay, one of the questions we asked yesterday is for those who've ever thought about writing a book. And if you've ever thought about writing a book, put yes, put me in the comments. We want to know who are our authors to be, right? Who are authors to be. Now, Athena, just to give a little bit more introduction for those who may not know you, you are a CEO, a publisher, and an author yourself. How many books are we up to now?
7.
Woo, I'm a little jealous now. I'm jealous. 7, okay. And you help people to write books and get them published. Now, over 200 books have been published because of your work with Water Springs Publishing. And you have a passion and a burden for people to get their message out there in the format of writing and through books. And we talked about this yesterday that books can go places that you cannot go, and
Mhm.
books can outlast you. And what I think is also crucial, even if my video message, my recorded message, even my live message is impactful, a book allows someone to sit with and engage and just assimilate that message in a way that other forms of writing can't. And you gave an example. And the last thing, you gave an example. Someone says, I'm almost finished with my book now. Awesome. Awesome. You gave an example. I asked you yesterday, tell me about a book that is an old book that has outlived the person who wrote it. You remember the example you gave?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Which
Bible.
yeah, it's
Pick
like the
pick an author.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So we're back today, and our topic today is why your book is the key to authority. Why your book is your key to authority. And for those who are watching this, someone had on their goals for this year to write a book. Someone had a list on their goals for last year to write a book, or a few years ago. Well, we are talking to you now. So you're on this live or you're watching this replay for a reason, because you have a book in you and you cannot let it go. And we want to talk about why your book is the key to authority. So talk to us about Athena. What is having a book? What is this topic of authority even? Why is that even important?
Let me start by saying, and first I'll add a group of people. You've been on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on the fence. You haven't even articulated to anyone that you want to write a book. We're talking to you too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Talking to you too. Um, I'll start with this fact. Books increase credibility by 400%.
Ooh.
400%.
Okay.
So you can be a educator, you can be a pastor, you can have great titles, right? You can be president of an organization. You can be a person of influence. You can be the mom. You can be the grandmother. You can be any of those things. any of those educational levels. But when you are a published author, your credibility increases by 400%.
That's a number right there.
So if your credibility increases, so does your influence. So does your voice, right? So does your impact. So for the person who has been sitting, wondering, have not done it, think about the impact to your ministry, to your business, to your studies that a book provides you as a published author. There is a reason why when you're in seminary and you've done doctorate programs that they push you to publish. There is a reason why when you are in certain academia places, they push you to publish. They want your work to be exposed and your thought process to be exposed to more people, but also it increases your influence, right? You become a voice that needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Without a book, you're just a mom. When you become an author, a published author, you become a mom with influence that has the know-how, the skill, and the influence to teach someone how to deal with X, Y, and Z, because that's what you wrote your book about, right?
That's so good.
You thought you're just a mom of an autistic child, a child on a spectrum. When you publish a book, you have increased your credibility. Now people will want to hear, how do you facilitate a household as a mom with a child on a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
It increases your influence, it magnifies your voice, and all of a sudden you're not just a mom.
Yeah. It's so interesting, Athena, and I want to tie this to the people who you've taken my speaking challenge, right? Those of you who are coaching, you're trying to do consultation work, writing a book helps with all of those things, right? So if you are going to an organization, and just to tie it to the people who did the speaking challenge with Pierre Quinn, Pierre talks about his book, Leading While Green, and then Leading While Scared being part of that credibility for him. Because now here it is, Athena, he talks about leadership, does not have an MBA, right? Does not have a PhD, never worked at a Google or Amazon or whatever, never. And what helped him with that credibility was the book that he wrote. So the book helped with the speaking. And for those of us who are into speaking, those of us who are into consulting, having that published work shows that, you mentioned credibility, impact. I'm curious for you, when you wrote your book, how did you see that in action in your life?
When I wrote my first book, it was first an act of obedience.
Okay.
I knew that it was something I needed to do. I was charged to do and did it. Okay. So I did it as an act of obedience, knowing that it would help some people. Kimona knew it would help some people.
Yeah.
That was my only goal. I want to help someone.
That part. Yeah.
That part. That was it. That was the full extent of the vision. And it was big, that my message would help someone navigate life. Well, not someone, would help Christians navigate life after trauma, tragedy, and loss. That was my message. That was my topic. And it did that. Okay. But what it also did was it opened doors to not only me as a published author, but that became the foundation of a new ministry for me. So that book started ministry, a preaching ministry, a teaching ministry, and now a nonprofit organization.
Wow.
That book also became the catalyst for my publishing company. That after 10 years, it has become a six-figure publishing company, all from that one book.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I thought was just, I'm going to help people with that topic. I've now opened up the doors because of that published book. Doors have opened up for me through ministry and through business.
Wow.
One book
Yeah, yeah.
opened that up.
You know, and tell me if this has happened to you, because this has happened to me. Because I wrote a book, people asked me to come talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the people who asked me to come talk about it didn't even read it yet. But because they saw you could write something on this, well, we want to hear you talk, right? And so it goes hand in hand. Because you write, people want to hear you now come and share on that message. And it's opened doors for me to travel within the US and outside the US. And I think I've seen you travel to speak outside of the US, even talking about things that you've written.
Right. I was able to create workshops, teachings, all kinds of things out of that book. For many years, I preached only out of that book. They called me to preach. Let me pick a chapter.
Yeah.
You know, the content was there, and so I didn't have to recreate the wheel. So that's that jump of credibility. It's even if people hadn't read it, it is that perceived idea and notion that if you took the time to write a book about a particular subject, people will see you in a different light. They just will.
Yeah, that's so good.
And if it is published professionally, and it doesn't look like you self-published it out of, Microsoft Word and Word Perfect, I'm aging myself, right? Word Perfect, and created your cover in Paint, in Microsoft Paint, right? There is a perception. You are perceived higher, and you become a voice of authority.
Yeah.
Right. Especially in this nonfiction space, even for those who have children's books. I have seen my children's books authors be invited to schools, right? Not just to do a nice little reading, but to even share on their topic, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So when you have something that you are well informed or passionate enough to write a book, you become a voice of authority and a credibility that opens doors. I tell my authors this all the time. That book that you can get $20 for, and that's great. Ooh, you got $20 for the book, you made $15 profit. That's wonderful. But that one book can also open up doors for a speaking engagement, right? How much will you charge for a speaking engagement?
That's right. Well, based
even
on
if
what
they
we
feed
talked
you
about,
lunch,
right?
it's more important than we did, right? It's more money than that $15 book. And when you get into the room, you've already been paid to speak, and you have dozens of books to sell, and never have to say, buy my book, because you're speaking on your book's topic. Oh, by the way, in China, I covered this in detail. Oh, what book is that? You asked? Here it is.
Yeah.
Right? And now you've sold 100 copies, 100 times that 15 plus your speaking fee.
Oh, yeah.
And 5 people in the room have authority and influence to invite you to another space. And it just continues to go. And I'm sure you have gotten invites from people who don't know you.
That's right.
But heard about you, heard about your book, and invited you to speak, and invited you to teach based on the fact of what they heard. That's that jump in that credibility.
Yeah. You know, Athenas, this is so good. All right. So our guest, I'm having a conversation with Athena Shack from Water Springs Publishing. Burden, we're helping people who've you have a message to share. You may be operating in the education space, the church space, the health space, the finance space. You have a message to share. You want to get it out to people. One of the questions you're asking yourself is, why would someone listen to me? Right? That's what you're asking yourself. So sometimes this is what we default to, Athena. We think, let me go get a degree in this. Let me go get another degree in this. Let me go get another degree. Listen, I have friends who have terminal degrees, doctorates, who are getting more education. And this is not live to talk against education. That's not what we're doing. But we're saying there are other ways to demonstrate that credibility, there are other ways to show that you already have the thing. Because I believe the reason some of us are doing it is not because we don't know the thing, it's because we want to show to someone outside, I have this credibility. And one of the ways we can do that is through putting down a systematic way of the thoughts and the messages we have. I was thinking, I just looked over at my bookshelf. One of the biggest marketing gurus is a guy named Seth Godin. Have you heard of Seth Godin? So here's my question, Athena, to you. You know Seth Godin. What do you know him for?
Marketing.
Okay. Cool.
Never read a book. Okay. But I've heard the name. I've seen him all over. So and I just know that he wrote a book. And
yeah, he's now
marketing.
Yeah. What's his degree in?
Probably don't even have a degree. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We have no idea. And I think that's the point for a lot of the people who we know as thought leaders in particular areas. We don't know, and we're not even checking what their degree is in. We just know we hear them speak, and we've seen them write, and they go hand in hand. They write, so we ask them to speak. And when they speak, we look to see what they've written, and they go hand in hand. And so the point we're making is, do likewise. Don't put yourself under a different criteria than you're making for other thought leaders, where you're thinking, no, I need to. No, here's a simple way. Write the message that you have, put it out into the world, speak on it, share what you've written, and let that cycle go on.
And here's the thing. So many of us have been sitting on content that already exists.
Okay, talk about that.
There's so many people who say, I don't have the time to write, but you write a sermon every week. I don't have the time to write, but you're writing notes for plans. Sunday school, lesson plans, or all of these things.
Workshops that you're doing.
You've written something, so you have content. There's so many of us that are sitting on videos and audio that we have from speaking engagements, from Sundays, morning Sabbaths, from workshops, videos and audios of your thinking, right? Of your process, of your skills, of your knowledge. Video that has a transcribed script. That's content. So you can use the power of your pen, or you can use the power of your voice. There is no excuse. Number one. Number two, if you are not, you are missing out. If you are pastoring, if you are teaching on a consistent basis, but do not have a book that goes beyond your pulpit, or goes beyond your chair, goes beyond your business, you are missing out.
Wow.
A book will capitalize and encompass what you do all the time to people who will never hear you or sit under you.
Yeah.
So you're missing out.
Yeah.
Books are an extension of us.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. Books are an extension of your business. They are an extension of your ministry. It's an extension. So it doesn't have to be something off the beaten path of what you already know that you can sit and talk about for 30 minutes without a single note. That's your book.
Yeah.
That's your book. And you probably have multiple books in you if you can go for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's cool about what you're saying, Athena? So a few things I see. Even as the person who is teaching every week, there are some themes that if I sit listening to you long enough, if you're presenting, if you are in a room as a social worker working with a group of people, if I listen to you long enough, I'll go, yeah, I hear that theme. Now you might think, if you're the preacher, this week I'm in Genesis, and then next month I'm in another book, but there's a theme, and then there's a particular group that resonates with that message more. And having a book allows you to like begin bringing it together so that theme that's been connecting everything, you can now put it in one place and in multiple places if you have multiple books.
That's it. Bingo. Ring the bell. You just gave someone exactly how to do it. That's why I say we have the content. So even if you do not speak in series, right? If you've been doing this for, let's just say 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's just say 3 years, right? You could be new at this. 3 years you've been pastoring and speaking and preaching at least, let's say 50% of the month. Let's just say you just have 2 sermons a month times 12, right? 24 times 3, right? Even if you're not preaching in a series, you have topics. You've preached on forgiveness 4 times.
Yes, that's it. Oh, I like that.
Or 4 times this year. Last year, you preached on forgiveness 2 times, but in your first year, you preached on it 4 times. Now, I got lost in my math. So let's just say that's 8 times.
Yeah.
I got lost in my math, right? 8 times, 8 chapters on forgiveness. You got your note. You have the video. Go through editing, get it done.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
We're sitting on it.
Yeah,
we're sitting on it.
Now I want to challenge you because there's someone I literally have in mind that I'm going to text when this is over about the challenge that I'm going to talk about. She is an educator as a homeschooling mom, and what she's done is not just homeschooled very successful kids, but also helped other people who are getting into that journey of homeschooling. And I'm thinking to myself, someone might say, well, I don't get up to preach every week, but I have a story. How does this method work for them if they haven't been preaching and standing in front of people, but they've lived an experience and they've also been talking to other people about that experience?
You write what you are passionate about. And that passion will not, that unction and that passion will not leave until you get it out. So for some who already has content that they can massage into a book, some of us have to write from scratch. But you do it with a plan. You don't just sit down and throw the air and say, okay, I'm going to write it. It doesn't, it will take you so long to do that, which is why this challenge is going to be key, because I'm going to tell you how to get it done. But when you are passionate about something, and it may not even be in your educational training, it can be in your personal experience, it can be your memoir, it can be your story, it can be your experience that hasn't been documented anywhere, right? So now you have to figure out how to move those ideas, get them into a linear format that has a flow, and get it into a book form.
That's good.
It does take some know-how. It does take a little bit of skill and a plan in order to get it done, but it can be done. So it's a matter of learning how to do that, learning how to get what's in your mind, in your heart, in a plan, in a format for you to write those experiences in a way to reach the person that you want to reach.
That's good. That's good.
It is a way,
Yeah,
right?
that's
That's what I had to do. I did not have any plan. I didn't have any other resource. I had to start from scratch, and I had to develop a plan for my book.
Mm.
And I go through and I teach my authors how sometimes even what you start with and the thoughts that you had, by the time you get to the end, it may look different. It is okay. But I learned the process and I learned the secret sauce into making sure I am making great use of my time. Okay, that's why I've been able to cut out 6, 7 more books, because now I have a process. And I do that process with every book, cutting my time in half, more than a half, because I have a process and a plan.
You know, it's interesting, Athena, by the way, just knowing you, you're one of those people, you get a lot done, but you still have margin. Like I get sometimes like, okay, you send that email towards the end of the year saying, I'm off. Like we're done for the year. Or, you know, like you're a very engaged mom, you know, you're busy with your ministry. And what you're showing is with the right plan, you can get stuff done. I want to come back to plan, but I want to say this to someone. Here is the info for the challenge. It's the Monetize Your Ministry Speaking Challenge. And writing challenge, the Monetize Your Ministry Writing Challenge. And it's to help you to get that book out there that you've had in you, your first book or your next book. Because someone might say, I've already written a book. Yeah, that's me. But I'm doing the challenge, not just as a host, but as a participant, because I got another book in me, Athena. And so it's April 27th to 29th. It's Sunday to Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. What's going to happen during those 2 hours? Glad you asked. You're going to get live training from Athena and coaching. You can ask questions, right? Imagine you've been working in your own head or just staying confused in your own head. You got a chance to ask questions of a book publisher who can walk you through the process for 2 days. For 3 days, 2 hours every day. And you're part of a community of other people who are writing. And who is this for? This is for someone who has a message to share. This is for someone who has a burden to connect with a particular audience. This is someone who wants to grow the authority so you can grow your business, you can grow your ministry, you can grow the thing that God has given you. And it is a small investment because we know when you pay attention. And there is an early bird deadline. So if I were you, I would register today. The fact that I'm watching this now doesn't mean I should wait until the deadline, but register today so you can claim your spot. You can be on, you can ask questions. Athena has resources she's going to share with you. And the link to it is monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. That's it, monetizeyourministrychallenge.com. Athena, I want to ask you this question. So a lot of people struggle with writing because they say, I don't have the inspiration, right? I want to wait till I get the inspiration. So I write on the days when I feel inspired. One, is that the right way? And what's a better way if that's not the right way?
Yeah, and we're actually going to dig into that during a challenge, because we are going to come up with a writing plan that is custom to you. I always, it has to work with your life. And so for me, that is actually my preferred method, not preferred method, that is my most effective method. When I am inspired, when I get the downloads and it's just fire on me, I get to writing. Ooh, that's some of my best stuff, right? When I'm under inspiration. The problem with that method alone is that inspiration can be sporadic, right?
It can come this week and then next 4 weeks, right?
It can come next year. I have 3 kids. I am married to a wonderful husband who is a full-time entrepreneur just like myself. We are both involved in ministry. My time is very short, so I don't have just like free time to just be hanging out and waiting for the inspiration to hit. But I get my best writing during those times. So in order for me to not go years in trying to do this, I have a outline and a plan so that I'm intentional about creating a space for that inspirational time. So, for example, my current writing project has to do with worship. So, in order for me to get into that inspirational space, I have to do it with intentional worship, and then I write. Right. So that has been my method because I get my best writing under inspiration, but I have mirrored it with a plan and an outline.
So good.
Okay. So I know what I need to be inspired about. Right. Um, and if I'm really good, I give myself, when I'm trying to get something done in a timeline, like in 90 days, I will, next to my outline, I will give myself a date. So now I know what steps I need to take to get my mind into that place to do that. But you can't just be haphazard with it, or it will take you years, which is why I say you need to have a plan. So developing a writing plan is crucial. If you have poor management skills, developing a writing plan that works with your life is crucial.
That's so good.
And so we're going to go through all the ways to do that. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that's I'm guilty. That's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's good. So if you wanted to know reason number 75, where you need to sign up for this challenge, you can get a plan. And I'll tell you this. Yes, some of us say I'll show up to write when inspiration hits. And I believe when you show up to write, inspiration hits. Like, and the plan helps you to make sure you are following something, you aren't haphazard. And then the last thing we want for you, and the last thing you want for you, is to just drop that book, say, okay, this isn't working, and just say, well, maybe this wasn't for me. I don't think that God would have put it on your heart and not let you let it go if it were not for you. And in fact, it's not for you. The book you're writing is for the person who needs that message. It's for the fellow mom or that business owner or that younger person, that younger version of you, or that person who's gone through the same thing you've gone through, or someone who needs to learn the lesson that God has taught you. So, no, it's not for you. It's for someone else. And that's why you need to write it. So I want to invite you again to Monetize Your Ministry Writing Challenge, April 27th to 29. But register today, April 2nd. Register today. You can say, listen, I started off Q2 in the right way because I signed up for something that will help me to accomplish one of my goals. Even if you say I don't do resolutions, you had that goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sign up for it. Athena, give us one last word before we sign off.
This came to me a few minutes ago. I want to address, look, a former version of myself. I want to invite specifically new and young in ministry, associates who you don't have a platform. You may be part of a big church. You don't have a platform to preach. You don't have a podcast. You don't want to become a
Influencer.
right? But you have a heart for ministry, and you have all of these things bubbling inside of you, this passion inside of you on a particular subject, right? That when they see your face, they know this is what you are about, but you don't have an outlet. This is how you will, by coming and writing a book, this is going to open doors for you that sitting quietly will never do for you.
Good. That's good.
And it's because, people with integrity, young ministers at heart with integrity, that's not trying to showboat, not looking for their name to be great, but just looking to help as many people as possible with their ministry and with their help. Write a book about the topic that you are so passionate about. Teach on it.
Yeah.
Let it open doors for you. And I'll show you how to
Good.
bring that passion into a book. So you don't have to chase assignment. You don't have to chase anything that does not belong to you. Your book will open doors for you based off of the work that you do for it.
That's it.
That's
Doors
it.
of the church are open. Right? MonetizeYourMinistryChallenge.com. We'll see y'all tomorrow for another live. This ain't the challenge. This is just a pre-challenge. And if the pre-challenge, you're getting gems like this, you know the challenge is going to be good. Go to MonetizeYourMinistryChallenge.com and sign up now. And we'll send you information even leading up to the challenge. So sign up now. You'll get more information than those who sign up later. All right? Athena, thank you so much. We'll see everyone tomorrow, 1 Central, 2 Eastern.
Yes, sir. See you tomorrow.